What happens when fashion's most feared boss returns and the world of glamour trembles all over again? The Devil Wears Prada 2 teaser has finally arrived, and it's already sending waves through the fashion world and Hollywood fans alike. But here's the twist: this isn't just a simple continuation. Every frame of this teaser whispers secrets, drops hints, and gives us a deeper look into the story that's about to unfold. If the first film defined an entire era of style and ambition, this sequel is teasing something much bigger: a war of power, relevance, and legacy in the cutthroat fashion industry. Let's break down the teaser scene by scene and uncover what the filmmakers are truly hinting at. The teaser doesn't waste a single second before pulling us into its world. The very first shot isn't of Miranda Priestly, but of a city skyline glowing in the evening light. This immediately sets the tone. New York is still the heart of this story. It's not just a backdrop, it's a battlefield where careers are made and broken. The quick pan to flashing camera bulbs outside a high-end event signals one thing: the fashion world is more public, more chaotic, and more unforgiving than ever before. This is no longer the quiet power Miranda commanded from behind closed doors. It's a stage where every step is watched. Then, we see a fleeting glimpse of a runway, drenched in white light, with models walking in futuristic designs. This isn't the sleek elegance of the 2006 film. This is bold, experimental, and a little intimidating. It tells us that the sequel will focus on a fashion world that has completely transformed. Social media, influencers, and viral fashion trends have shaken the industry. The teaser is asking us, can Miranda's old-school power still rule in this new age? The next striking moment is a slow-motion shot of an office hallway, perfectly polished floors reflecting sharp heels. We don't see faces, but we hear the faint clicking of footsteps, unmistakably Miranda's. That sound alone creates tension. It's a reminder that her presence is enough to freeze a room. Yet the camera doesn't immediately reveal her face, building suspense, as if to say, the queen hasn't arrived yet, but when she does, everything changes. And then, almost hidden, comes the first callback to the original movie. A scene. Flashes of a desk piled high with fashion magazines and papers flying as someone struggles to keep up. Fans of the first film will instantly connect this to Andy's chaotic days as Miranda's assistant. But this time, the hands fumbling through the pile don't look like Andy's, they look younger, fresh, possibly a new character. This little moment suggests a passing of the torch, or perhaps a new rivalry, where someone else might step into Andy's old shoes. What really makes the teaser gripping is its use of silence. At one point, the screen fades to black and we only hear Miranda's voice. Cold, sharp, and unforgettable, she says just one line: "Fashion waits for no one." This echoes her original philosophy, but now it feels layered with something more, almost as if she's warning Andy, Emily, and even herself that the world has moved forward. It's a chilling reminder that the real antagonist here may not be a single character, but the relentless evolution of fashion itself. Toward the end, the teaser gives us a blink and you miss it montage. Andy is shown glancing at her reflection in a glass window, dressed in a sophisticated yet slightly weary style. Emily is spotted at a glamorous event, confident and sharp, her smile suggesting she might finally have the upper hand. But the teaser never lets us stay comfortable. Suddenly, we see paparazzi flashes, a runway model stumbling, and an anxious young assistant dropping her phone in panic. These chaotic images stitch together a story of high-pressure, crumbling facades and the endless cycle of ambition. The final shot belongs, of course, to Miranda. The camera slowly pans upward from her heels to her perfectly tailored coat, and just when her face is about to be revealed, the teaser cuts to the title card, The Devil Wears Prada 2. It's a master stroke showing us that she is still the centerpiece, but holding back her full reveal, making us crave more. This first section of the teaser proves one thing: this film isn't just cashing in on nostalgia. It's telling us that fashion, power, and ambition have evolved, and so have the characters. Every shot hints at deeper conflicts, sharper rivalries, and new challenges. And if the teaser alone can leave us this shaken, imagine what the full movie will deliver. One of the biggest shocks the teaser gives us isn't just its visual style, but the face is both familiar and surprising that it hints at. Let's start with the comeback everyone has been waiting for, Meryl Streep as Miranda Priestly. The teaser doesn't fully show her face, but the hints are undeniable. The clicking heels, the powerful voice, and the commanding silhouette all belongs to Miranda. And this return isn't just exciting, it's symbolic. Meryl Streep's performance in the original turned Miranda into one of the most iconic characters in modern cinema. Her cold stare, razor-sharp one-liners, and air of untouchable authority made her unforgettable. Now, almost 20 years later, her return is not just nostalgia, it's a promise that the sequel is aiming to recapture that legendary power while also showing us how. Miranda has changed with time, but Miranda isn't the only one stepping back into the spotlight. The teaser gives us a fleeting glimpse of Anne Hathaway as Andy Sachs. She doesn't need a dramatic entrance, her quiet presence is enough. Dressed in a sleek, tailored outfit, she no longer looks like the clumsy assistant fumbling through Fashion Week. Andy now carries herself with confidence, but there's also something in her expression-tired eyes. Maybe a heavy sigh that tells us success hasn't come without sacrifice? Fans have always wanted to know, where did Andy's journey lead after she walked away from Miranda's world? The teaser suggests she's back, but the question is, has she returned willingly, or has the fashion world pulled her back in against her will? And then there's Emily Blunt's character Emily Charlton. In the original, she was the sharp-tongued assistant with endless ambition and zero patience for Andy's mistakes. The teaser now shows her in full glamour, walking confidently down a red carpet, with cameras flashing around her. She's smiling, not the sarcastic smirk we remember, but a controlled, polished smile of someone who knows she belongs. This tiny moment tells us Emily may finally have reached the top of the fashion world she once only dreamed about. But here's the twist when old rivalries resurface. Will Emily stand with Miranda, clash with Andy, or fight for her own crown? That's the intrigue the teaser cleverly sets up without giving too much away. Of course, a sequel of this scale can't rely only on familiar faces. The teaser hints at new blood entering the game, and this is where things get truly exciting. One quick flash shows a younger woman nervously juggling a stack of fashion magazines, clearly overwhelmed. She could be the new assistant someone stepping into Andy's old role. If that's true, her character may act as a mirror for both Andy and Miranda, forcing them to reflect on their past choices. Another scene shows a mysterious man in a designer suit, watching a runway with a calculating gaze. Could he be a rival editor? A rising designer ready to challenge Miranda's empire? Or perhaps a media mogul who represents the new era of digital fashion influence? The teaser doesn't give us names, but it gives us enough to speculate that fresh conflicts are on the horizon. What makes these additions even more compelling is how they might shift the power balance. Imagine Miranda, Andy, and Emily each with their own goals now having to navigate a new generation of ambitious fashion players. The old guard versus the new blood. Tradition clashing with modernity. This sets the stage for drama that isn't just personal, but generational. And let's not forget about Stanley Tucci's character, Nigel. While the teaser doesn't explicitly show him, fans are already buzzing about his possible return. Nigel was the voice of reason in the original, a man who knew the price of survival in Miranda's world but also had a heart buried beneath the glamour. If he returns, his role could be crucial. Perhaps he bridges the gap between Miranda's era and the younger generation. Or maybe, after years of working behind the scenes, Nigel is finally ready to claim the spotlight for himself. The beauty of this teaser is that it gives us just enough to get our hearts racing without spoiling anything. We see familiar faces, aged by time and experience, ready to face new challenges. We glimpse unknown figures who could be allies, rivals, or game changers. And through it all, the message is clear. The Devil Wears Prada 2 isn't just repeating the same story. It's reinventing it with a cast that blends the past and the future. This cast comeback feels less like a reunion and more like a collision. Miranda's authority, Andy's determination, Emily's ambition, and the hunger of new characters all colliding on one stage, the world of fashion, where no one stays on top forever. And if the teaser is any indication, we're about to witness battles that are more ruthless, more stylish, and more personal than anything we saw in the original. Asterisk, if the teaser has taught us one thing, it's that the Devil Wears Prada 2 won't just recycle the old story, it's building something deeper, sharper, and far more timely. The original film explored the cost of ambition, the pull between career and personal happiness, and the sacrifices demanded by success. But nearly 20 years later, the world is different. Fashion is faster, harsher, and more global. That means the sequel must evolve too. And every hint in the teaser points toward new conflicts that feel bigger, bolder, and painfully real. Let's start with Andy. The last time we saw her, she walked away from Miranda's world, choosing her own path and rejecting the endless cycle of power and control. But the teaser suggests Andy is drawn back into fashion's orbit. Why? Perhaps her journalism career, her original dream, has led her into the fashion industry once again, this time from a different angle. Maybe she's now a respected voice in media, forced to cover Miranda's empire, only to be pulled into the drama she once escaped. Or maybe she's facing her own personal crisis, career burnout, or the fading relevance of her work in Miranda's world represents both a temptation and a trap. Whatever the case, Andy's story seems set to confront the haunting question, can you ever truly leave behind the world that shaped you? Then there's Miranda herself. In the first film, she was untouchable, ruling runway with icy authority. But the teaser makes it clear the world has changed. Social media influencers now set trends overnight. TikTok stars are the new tastemakers. Viral moments can make or break a designer in seconds. Miranda's old methods, control, exclusivity, and intimidation may not carry the same weight in this new digital era. Her story may revolve around fighting for relevance, proving that she still belongs at the top. But here's the twist. Miranda has never been one to simply fight for survival. If the industry has changed, she will change with it, but how far? Is she willing to go? Will she adapt gracefully, or will she wage war against the new order of fashion? The theme of reinvention versus obsolescence looms heavily over her arc. Emily's story could provide yet another fascinating layer. From the glimpse in the teaser, she's thriving, confident, glamorous, and finally basking in the spotlight she once craved. But success is never simple in this world. If Emily has risen high, then she now faces the same challenges Miranda once did, maintaining control, fending off rivals, and sacrificing personal peace for professional glory. Could Emily become a reflection of Miranda herself, ruthless and hardened by the world she once feared? Or could she turn into Andy's unlikely ally, bridging the gap between ambition and compassion? The possibility of Emily standing at a crossroads between loyalty to Miranda, rivalry with Andy, and her own hunger for power sets up a dynamic tension that could define the sequel. The new characters, teased especially the nervous assistant and the mysterious rival, add another layer of storytelling. They symbolize a new generation, one that doesn't fear Miranda in the way Andy and Emily once did. The younger assistant, fumbling through her duties, may mirror Andy's past, reminding her of how far she's come and forcing her to decide whether to help or distance herself. The rival, possibly a bold designer or powerful editor, represents a new fashion era, one that challenges Miranda's dominance and tests the loyalty of those around her. This theme of legacy versus disruption is central. Can the old guard survive in a world obsessed with what's new? Beyond individual characters, the film is clearly setting up a broader exploration of themes that resonate with today's audience. One of these is the cost of relevance. In a world that never stops moving, how do you stay on top without losing yourself? Another theme is the intersection of fashion and identity. Fashion is no longer just luxury, it's political, cultural, and deeply personal. The teaser hints at storylines involving sustainability, inclusivity, and the global influence of fashion. If Miranda is challenged by these modern realities, her cold practicality will clash with a world demanding transparency and heart, and at its core, the sequel may return to the question that made the original so powerful. What is the price of ambition? For Andy, it might mean sacrificing her personal life again. For Emily, it could mean betraying old friends to secure her place. For Miranda, it may mean fighting tooth and nail to prove she's still the queen. But unlike before, these characters aren't naive. They know the costs, and yet they may still choose to pay them. That awareness makes their struggles even more tragic, more human, and more relatable. The Devil Wears Prada 2 isn't just about fashion, it's about power, survival, and reinvention. It's about women navigating spaces that demand perfection, while punishing weakness. And if the themes teased are any indication, the sequel won't simply repeat the old lessons. It will hold up a mirror to our modern world, asking whether we've learned anything at all or whether we're still willing to trade everything for a taste of glory. Asterisk for years. Whispers of a Devil Wears Prada sequel floated around Hollywood, like a rumor at Fashion Week, exciting, but never fully confirmed. Fans begged, petitions trended, and interviews with the cast always seemed to end with the same answer. It would be amazing, but probably not happening. And then suddenly the announcement dropped, and everything changed. Now, with the teaser officially out, the sequel is no longer a dream, it's reality. But the big question still lingers in every fan's mind. When will we actually see The Devil Wears Prada 2 on the big screen? The film is officially locked into a 2025 release window, and if we analyze the timing of the teaser, it seems the studio is aiming for a late summer or holiday premiere. Why? Because that's when fashion is at its loudest. September issues. Fashion weeks in New York, London, Milan, and Paris. Dropping the sequel during this season would be more than just smart marketing. It would make the movie part of the cultural conversation in real time. Imagine the buzz. While designers send models down real runways, Miranda Priestly herself would be ruling cinema screens, reminding everyone who truly dictates style. Behind the scenes, production has been quietly building for the last couple of years. Reports suggest that much of the film was shot in iconic fashion capitals, New York, of course, but also London and Paris. This hints at a storyline with a wider scope, reflecting the globalized fashion industry of today. The teaser itself backs this up. Those sweeping shots of skylines and runways don't belong to just one city, but to a world where fashion has no borders. This global scale signals that the stakes are higher than ever. Miranda isn't just defending her throne at Runway magazine, she's facing a worldwide challenge to her authority. Another fascinating detail comes from the choice of director. While the original was helmed by David Frankel, this time there are whispers of a fresh creative voice leading the project. The studio hasn't revealed everything yet, but insiders suggest this shift in direction is intentional. The sequel needs to balance nostalgia with reinvention, and a new director ensures it won't simply copy the original style. The teaser itself supports this. It's bolder, more experimental, filled with sharp contrasts and modern energy. If true, this change could be the secret ingredient that gives the sequel its own identity while honoring the original. Now, let's talk about the cultural weight of this release. The first Devil Wears Prada wasn't just a movie, it became a cultural touchstone. It gave us quotes still used today, scenes that live rent-free in our heads, and characters that shaped how we see ambition and power. Nearly 2 decades later, the world has changed, but the hunger for that same mix of wit, glamour, and drama hasn't faded. That's why this sequel feels so perfectly timed. We live in an age where fashion is instantly shared, debated, and sometimes torn apart online. A movie that dives into the cutthroat battles behind the glossy images isn't just entertainment, it's a reflection of the moment we're living in. The production team seems to understand this. Costume design is reportedly a massive focus. Once again, with some of fashion's top real-world designers collaborating on the film. The teaser already shows futuristic, daring runway looks, proving that the sequel isn't stuck in the past, it's embracing what's next. This matters. Because in the world of The Devil Wears Prada, clothes aren't just clothes, they're storytelling devices. They show power shifts, inner struggles, and transformations without a single word being spoken. And if the sequel wants to capture the same lightning as the original, its fashion has to speak louder than ever. Of course, fans are also desperate for concrete details: when tickets will go on sale, when the full trailer will arrive, and whether there will be any special events leading up to the release. Based on the teaser timeline, the full trailer could drop within the next few months, likely around spring 2025. That would give the studio enough time to build hype, tease storylines, and flood social media with iconic Miranda moments before the final release. If we follow the pattern of other major film campaigns, expect an official trailer by early summer, press tours by late summer, and the grand premiere before the holiday season. All of this makes one thing crystal clear. The Devil Wears Prada 2 is being positioned not just as a sequel, but as one of the year's biggest cultural events. It's more than a movie release, it's a fashion moment, a cinematic moment, and a generational moment all at once. The anticipation, the speculation, the fan theories, it's all building toward a release date that promises to shake both Hollywood and the fashion world. And that's the brilliance of this update. The release date isn't just a number on a calendar, it's the countdown to a storm. A storm where ambition clashes with reinvention, where old legends meet new challengers, and where Miranda Priestly walks back onto the stage, reminding us all that, in the end, fashion and power waits for no one.